Jonathan David is on the move, and could his destination be to the Premier League and maybe even Nottingham Forest? Welcome to your latest news. Good morning, good evening, or good night. Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to your latest Forest transfer news. It's a transfer week, I can't lie. All the papers are full of crap right now. If you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed here if you are new. And if you want to keep up to date on your WhatsApp, just quick Forest alerts, make sure you go and follow us on the update side of things. It's not a group, it's not chatting, it just gives you quick bullet point notifications, completely free to join, completely secure. Scan that QR code or click on the link that's pinned in the comments. Okay, let me talk to you about a couple of players today. Firstly, for all of you who have not heard yet, Morgan Gibbs-White has been dropped by Tuchel. I really got no interest in this England game tonight. I really don't. But anyway, get your thoughts in on there. Is Tuchel taking the mick now with Morgan Gibbs-White? Okay, he hasn't drop kicked him out of the club, you know what I'm saying? He's not named him in the squad for tonight's England game, which I think is a bit insulting myself. But anyway, I was born in Scotland, so I want to know what you English think of it. So let me know in the comments down below. But let's talk about Jonathan David. Jonathan David, a striker currently at Lille in France, is on the move this summer and is on the move for a free. Now, his book value, if he's under contract, is at least £40 million. He's a really good striker. He's got a good right foot and just as equally good left foot, if you ask me. Decent turn of pace on him, can drop into a 10, clinical finisher. If we look at his stats here, he was at Ghent before he was at Lille from 2018 to 2020, 60 games, 30 goals, a goal every other game. At Lille, he's played 170 games and scored 85 goals. And then he's Canadian as well. So internationally, he's played 60 games and 31 goals. So this for me is the type of striker that Forest need to target. Now, his demands are 150k a week, which is absolutely nothing for a striker, especially a striker who's going to be a free transfer. Now, free is a very loose sense of the term. There's still agent fees, signing on fees, etc. Now, are there links to Forest? Not really. There's been some people who are trying to push some links about him being linked to Forest. But I would tell you that I would be shocked if Forest are not going to have a look at him. He's come out with a statement which clearly shows that he's about to leave. He says he thinks he can adapt to every league. Every league has differences. The Premier League is a lot faster and more physical than the other leagues. But for me, I grew up watching La Liga, and that for me would be my preferred league. That is the league that I would enjoy watching the most. So one day I would like to play there. Will that happen? I don't know. We'll see what the future holds. So he's obviously a fan of La Liga, but has not ruled out the Premier League and has the attributes that suit it. Now, clubs we do know from the Premier League that are interested are the likes of Newcastle, Arsenal, and Man United. And out of all those ones, if Forest were to come in, obviously Man U would be bottom of his pecking order, but Forest would be able to have a good shot at him with the likes of Newcastle and Arsenal. Because in fact, it depends. Can Newcastle get into the Champions League this season? They're guaranteed Conference League next season. But can they offer him Champions League football? So Forest may be in a more favourable position. Now, again, I'll reiterate that this player hasn't had any strong links to Forest, just some people kind of clout hunting on it. But it then begs the question of who else is available on a free. And there are some interesting names that are coming up basically that can be taken on a free. Some of them are crap, some of them are good, and some of them are mid, and some of them are probably too old. So you got the likes of Verratti, Callum Wilson, Ronaldo. Those players are all out of contract. Would I take Ronaldo at Forest? Maybe, maybe I would. But obviously he's out Saudi at the moment. He's coming out of contract. Now, there are a few ones that are very interesting for me. Jonathan Tah but I think he's going, is it to Barca? He's got a pre-contract there already. The one that stands out for me is Angel Gomez, who is at Lille as well. I think he came up through the Man U academy. He's 24 years old. He's a central midfielder, can play CDM, maybe CM, something like that. And is Morgan Gibbs-White's best mate. Free, easy to do. The only problem for me, not to be shortest, but he is quite short. I think he's like 5'6", 5'7". So physically, he's not that much of a presence, but technically, he's very good with the ball. But he will be one that will be sought after. We'll do a whole video on these free transfer options that Forest could look at. There's people like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who, not for me. He's only 27. I always thought he was a bit older than that. And then the one that would really interest me would be someone like Leroy Sané. Yes, he's 29, but I still think he's got a lot to offer. So there are some interesting options that we can talk about as we get closer to the transfer window, about some free options that Forest can take on. Now, do I think Jonathan Tah is going to be linked with Forest? I will say it again, right? Nothing has convinced me that there's any links right now with him, but I think we will be linked with him. Watch this space. Watch this space. All right, let's move on to our second story, and that is on Marinakis and Marinakis Jr. And I want to say a massive thank you to Kitty Cat for translating a video. In fact, I'll leave the link in the description down below if you want to see the translated interview with the two Marinakises. Now, what was the basis of this interview? Well, it's all in celebration of Olympiacos' 100-year birthday. So Marinakis sat down with, what's it called, Life Stories, I think, Mega Stories documentary, to talk about Olympiacos, how they've come throughout his time, etc. And Marinakis Jr. as well. And within this documentary, they started talking about Nottingham Forest and what they were doing at our club. And it's quite interesting to hear. And if you watch the video, I'll leave it in, like I said, in the description. You'll see Marinakis Jr. talking about during COVID, how he stepped forward and asked the Greek father whether or not he could run Forest. And he told him he could. And then he oversaw, obviously, our crappy start under Houghton. And then he turned to Marinakis and basically said, we need to get rid, don't we, Dad? So it's a fascinating piece. But what I took away from it was the winning mentality. And this is something I've always said to you guys that I love and respect about Marinakis. And you can see it's in the bloodline as well. That's flowing into Marinakis Jr., that they have this winning mentality. They don't care if they would sit there and say, we're going to win trophies, and people laugh at them, because they know that their plan and their actions that they're putting together is what's then going to shut these people up. And that's what we're seeing. You've all heard Jim White on TalkSport talk about it a billion times, no doubt, where when Forest got promoted, he interviewed Marinakis there and then at full time. And he said to him, we're not just here to, make up the numbers. I want to win trophies. And he's laughed at it. And so is Simon Jordan. And now they are getting silenced by Marinakis. And it's a fascinating piece. So make sure you do go and click that link. I'll put it on the end screen as well, just to make life easier for you. And Kitty Cat has kindly put subtitles and translated it into English, which has made it very, very easy to understand. So the success, though, that you gotta understand is how it's gone from Olympiacos and running that club and also running Forest as well, and just looking at how thin his time must be spent. And the interesting thing is on Marinakis Jr., because we've never really discussed how much power he has at Forest, and are the reins being passed across to him? Or with Forest being potentially in the Champions League, does Marinakis Senior's attention now turn back to Forest? Because I feel, and my understanding is, that the Greek father will be running Forest. But I didn't actually know how much involvement, or for how long should I say, Marinakis Jr. has been pulling some important strings. He was the one who oversaw Cooper coming in, which in turn meant that he's partly responsible for our promotion. You know, he talked about how no club has ever gone from bottom of the Championship to the Premier League in 8 months. So, you know, maybe he's not getting enough credit for what he's done at Forest. So get your thoughts in on all of that. That brings you up to date with your latest Forest news. Get your thoughts in down below. Oh, actually, one more thing to tell you about. Cristiano Ronaldo bagged a hat-trick for New Zealand. So he's back on form. He's ready and able and willing to score goals. And the timing of that is absolutely perfect because he has been on a semi-small dry patch. And we do need him back and bagging those goals. So that pleases me to tell you guys as well. And that does indeed bring you up to date with your latest Forest news. Make sure you scan this QR code, get yourself in the WhatsApp group. It's in the pinned comments as well. We will see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.